Let me lay this out for you the only way I know how, by relating it to women in pop music. Welcome to our fearless Taylor's version era, the Fame Monster era, our teenage dream, our 21, oops I did it again, our cannibal era, our paradise, our B-Day, a girl like me, our misunderstood era, our my everything era, welcome to our emotion era, welcome back to Point of Due. Justin, it brings me so much joy to ask you this after 6 weeks. How are you and how excited are you to be back?
I am so good, Nick. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be back. I hope that you had a wonderful break. I know that I did. It was restful, it was restorative, but I am so excited to be back with the show. How about you? How are you feeling?
I'm really good. I'm also excited to be back. You know, we've kept it a secret for a long time. And to anyone who asked me when the show would return, I fully lied to you. It went a little bit like this. Hey, when are we getting new Point of View episodes? And how the hell are you still single? You're so hot. I'm kidding. They call me Fruity. But my answer was usually, we haven't talked about it yet. We're kind of just enjoying the break. We don't even really like each other. No, we were talking about that the other night. We wanted to put that in there. But no, I really have lied to a lot of people.
I know. How many people have you lied to?
Like at least 7 that have actually on the show. Yeah.
Like family and friends?
Yeah, no, all, people, yeah. Been mad. But the truth is, we really worked hard on giving the show a facelift, during the break, right down to the 2022 photo shoot, which we're so excited about. That came out phenomenal. We kept it on the down low. You know, we only shared it with one person outside the team. Do you want to say the name together?
Sure.
All right, ready? 1, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Lauren, the photographer. Oh, sorry.
The cop that pulled us over.
Oh, yes.
You want to tell the story?
I can tell the story. So we were with our friend Lauren. She was our wonderful photographer because we didn't have our producer Dan. Dan did our photo shoot for the last time when we started the podcast back in July, but we didn't have him with us this time around. So we recruited our friend Lauren, and so we went to, is it Nantasket Beach, right?
It was,
in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And we went. It's a really cute area. There was a lake area, there's a beach area, there was a carousel that was closed off because it's the winter. But it was really cute, and I know that we tried to find a setting that had some meaning. The last photo shoot it was in a place that had a lot of meaning for me, my New Hampshire home that I grew up with, and spent a lot of my childhood there. But this place had a lot of meaning for you, right? Before I tell the story.
Yeah, so my Nana, who has since passed away, but one of my favorite people in my life, loved Nantasket Beach. She loved going to the beach. My papa hated it, so he'd drop her off at the beach, and she had trouble walking, being elderly on the beach, but she'd walk over the rocks. She had a spot that she liked to sit in, and she would literally sit. That was like her 9 to 5. I'm not even kidding. And we used to meet her there when I was a little kid, and, it started... obviously when she was younger, when I was younger, I hated getting hit by the waves, so she'd pick me up and she'd get the brunt of it. This like old lady is, getting hit by the waves. This is the same person. This is the same one that ran the bases for me, at T-ball. And then we'd go to the carousel, and she took my mom there, and like her sisters there when they were younger. So that I think it's cool, to go visit. That's like a very special place for me. And I feel like that's where I go to visit her.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of family history there. And yeah, that's awesome. Now that she's, no longer with us, that sounds like a great place to kind of remember the great moments you had when she was with us. That's
and
awesome.
Take pictures of myself.
Exactly.
Which is what we did.
Take self-promoting pictures for, a show that you're on.
Yes.
So we did the photo shoot by the beach, by the lake, by the carousel, other places, and then we were done. We were happy with the pictures, and it was around lunchtime. So we're like, all right, let's go somewhere for lunch. So I found this really nice cafe, a couple towns over. And so we're driving along, having conversations, talking about, oh my gosh, I think these pictures are coming out really good. So excited to look at them, so excited to review them. Nick and I were talking about some ideas about when the show comes back, what we want to talk about, what things we want to, add as a facelift. And then there's sirens behind us. And we're like, not even sirens, just a light.
It wasn't sirens.
It was just the lights. It was just the blue lights. And so we're like, wait, what? Like, because Nick is a very safe, careful driver. Like, he does not speed. He does not break any laws, as one should not do. And so we're like, what did we do? He was not speeding, and so we pull over, and we pull over not even to the curb. No, what did you say?
You remember what I said? I looked in my rearview mirror. I was like, how long has he been following us?
Yeah, you were like, how long has he been following us?
Siren.
And you were like, I'm going to fight him because I know that I wasn't speeding. And so we pull over, and we don't pull over to a curb. We pull over into someone's driveway. So now we're completely blocking someone's driveway because you're on one half of the driveway and the cop is on the other half of the driveway. So if these people are trying to get out at any time soon, there's no way they'd be able to get out. And they're probably looking out the window like, who's being arrested in our front yard?
We gave them a good show.
I guess. I'm remembering something.
Yeah, me too.
We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. On air, at least.
Yeah.
So the cop comes over and Nick is like, I'm sorry, officer, is there something wrong? And he goes, oh, I'm just pulling you over because your taillight's out. And usually people don't really realize that their taillight's out until they get pulled over. So don't worry, it's just a warning, but can I have your license and registration, please? And I'm in the passenger seat stumbling for the registration because Nick's got like receipts and papers and all this stuff and like inspection approval sheets or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know where your registration. He's like, it's fine, just give me your license, I'll look it up. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, and then, but it was the perfect opportunity to, as we're pulling away, go, for the first time in 2022, by the way, all right, see you around.
Right, so that was fun.
I guess the first time was the trailer. But yeah, no, that was great. We didn't get a ticket, but yeah.
Yeah.
Solid content there.
Yeah, exactly. And you were like, I can't wait to tell this story.
Yeah.
And then you let me tell the story, so I'm honored.
Yeah, we took these pictures in January. Like I said, like when I say we kept this on the down low, we have been planning this for a while, and everything has been a secret. Like we didn't tell friends why we were hanging out.
Well, we also hung out as friends and not
we did. No, absolutely.
Co-podcast hosts.
We did, but I've basically threatened Justin with his life. That if someone asks what we're doing today, he had a nice day in bed. Speaking of...
I'm sorry? What?
Speaking of in bed, should we tell them what we did last night?
Sure. You dig yourself out of this hole.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I have to. We slept on an air mattress at Lauren's house, her apartment, which she was very kind to provide to us. I slept like so far away from him because I was afraid I was gonna roll over in the middle of the night and think we're like a pillow or something. And I was like, that's not gonna be a good look. So
just subconsciously start.
I didn't. Well, I've been told, like when I was younger, like when I was really young and like in hotel rooms or like, if like I got scared and be like, Dad, like in the middle of the night, like
sleep talk.
No. Like if I were like called my dad into my room or something, I'm talking like when I was like a kid. I kick and I grab, like I wrap my arms around, and so I was afraid that I was going to do that to you, but I didn't.
As far as I know.
As far as I know, I really hope. That would have been so bad.
Do you want to start this episode kind of where we left off last year? So I remember in the resolutions episode, first off, we have to talk about our resolutions. But second, we also said that we want to focus on gratitude going forward. And that's something that you said that you wanted to continue in 2022. Yes. So maybe do we want to start with something, just naming something we're grateful for, like naming something you're grateful for during the break, or just naming something that you, coming into this episode, are feeling grateful for, and then we talk about resolutions and how our progress or lack of progress we've made with those.
Sure. I would say two things I'm grateful for right now, and I would like to start each episode with this, like we're doing right now from now on. This 50 or so minutes to just of peace, and I'm not saying it ends after this, but it's just a nice space to know, like, we're just gonna have fun for 50 minutes. I'm really grateful for that. And I'm also really grateful, I guess this ties a little bit into my resolution. Like, I've really stuck with it in terms of the, affirmations in the morning. I write them on that shower pad of paper. No more
Yes.
good ideas down the drain. And I write one affirmation on the note card in my happy place, the shower, each morning, and it really, really has like laid a foundation to kind of be able to start the process of self-compassion.
Yeah.
If
Absolutely.
that makes sense, or self-love. Um, it's been really nice, and I've been really leaning into my OCD treatment, and I'm really proud of myself, so I'm grateful for that too. Um, but I am also, like I said, grateful for this time with you and Dan. Shout out producer Dan, by the way. Can you give us a little like sound effect to say hi to the people that have missed you so much in the past 6 weeks? Justin, what are you grateful for right now?
Well, lately I've been grateful for my support system, whether that's friends, whether that's family, whether that's colleagues. I've been really grateful for a support system just because, a theme of last year and a theme I think just continuing to go forward is I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my career going forward. You've all heard about my 2 jobs that I have and stuff, but I'm trying to figure out what is my next step. So I've really been engaging with talking to people that I care about and asking their opinions on, do you think this sounds good for me? Do you think this sounds good for me? Could you mind doing some research and so I can get your kind of informed opinion on what you think if I were to pursue this degree versus this degree? And so I've been really grateful for that. And I've also been really grateful just for my health. Over the break, more than a couple, I'd say a few of my family members got COVID, and I didn't, so I was really lucky. And so I'm just really grateful for my health. And I'm not going to name any names, but if anyone listening here can please keep one of my family members in mind. She is in the hospital, not doing very well, not with COVID, unrelated, other health conditions, but if you can keep her in mind, maybe say a prayer if you're a person of faith, that would be really helpful. But it's making me just kind of reflect and choose to be grateful for my health. So that's something else that I'm grateful for.
I will certainly pray for her. Yeah, I really like this tradition that we're starting. I think it lays, like I said, it lays the groundwork for being able to show yourself self-compassion throughout the rest of the day, or show yourself compassion throughout the rest of the day. But I think even just for these episodes, it lays a nice positive and even mindful foundation.
Absolutely. I think too, you just mentioned traditions, and we kind of have a tradition on this show. You've talked about, like, we've kind of given the show a facelift, which we can talk a little bit more in future episodes. We might tease a little bit in this episode. You talked about we did new photos. We have new tech. I've got a nice, pair of headphones for recording. You've got a microphone.
The same one as you, yeah. So
the same one as me. So we both
which
got
was intentional, so we sound the same. Like,
exactly.
Same audio quality.
In the trailer, we teased that we're going to have 2 new series, which we'll talk a little bit about at the end of this episode. But Nick, something that I wanted to talk about, again, I mentioned traditions that we have in this show. Are you coming into 2022 as a cherry?
Yes.
Or
I didn't know where you were going
fruit?
With that. Yes, I will remain a cherry for the rest of.
Okay. All right.
I've locked it in.
All right.
That is my truth.
Is it well lived?
Oh, it's well lived. I want to talk about last night and what we did last night for the Christmas gift that you got me.
Sure.
You want to tell them what we did?
Sure. So for Christmas, one of the, believe it or not, I just don't listen to my own podcast. I listen to other podcasts. I'm not so self-absorbed that I only listen to this one. But I listened to a podcast by Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. It's called the Smart List Podcast. And the 3 of them decided that they wanted to go on tour. So they're going to a few cities in the United States. They initially were going to Toronto, although unfortunately, because of COVID and Canada's regulations, they had to cancel those dates. But they came to Boston. And so for Christmas, since Nick is my podcast host, or we're co-hosts for this show, I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to do.
I'm your boy Robin.
Yeah. Sure. So we went to see the Smartless podcast live, and so it was really cool. They basically, I don't know if they recorded it, but they had a setup of just kind of like 2 armchairs and a couch with a rug just set up on the stage. And their format of their show is one of them books a guest. It's usually a celebrity guest, usually a well-known person, and the other 2 don't know who the guest is. So they invite the guest on, they do the introduction, and they say, please welcome so-and-so. And that was the same thing for the show. So it was Will Arnett's guest. Jason Bateman and Sean Hayes didn't know who the guest was. They started talking about who it could be, and Will kind of teased it, and then he said, please welcome Conan O'Brien. And so we saw all 4 of them just kind of riff and do their thing, and it was a really cool thing. And Nick, did you take notes? I just kind of thought about some stuff as
I walked out with my tail between my legs. I was like, we got to rewrite the jokes for this episode.
You did kind of, have your pen and paper immediately afterwards and start scribbling down all these jokes.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like a topical thing. It's like something that happened that I want to talk about and make jokes about. But honestly, I had a really good time. They were super funny. Conan came out, he got a standing ovation, and it had us. I thought it was really cool. It was very like a starstruck type of moment.
Absolutely.
when everybody gets excited. Because I'm not even like, oh my god, it's Conan O'Brien. It was more the people's reaction. And honestly, I was like, must be what people think when we talk on Point of View. And then I looked at the music on my phone, and I thought to myself, nope, I'm Sean Hayes. So, but do with that what you will. But no, I had a great time. It was very funny. It felt longer than 50 minutes. But I said this to Justin, like, there wasn't a boring part of the show.
Right.
Like, it was consistently funny.
Very engaging. They're also professional entertainers, but...
I mean, from one professional to another.
Yeah.
They had a similar budget to us, too. No.
Oh, yeah. With that, in 2023, we are announcing our Point of View tour. No.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is fun. This feels right,
So something else that I've been thinking about is our show's mantra.
Ooh, yes.
And do you want to remind our audience of what our mantra is?
Of course. It's just because it's over doesn't mean it's no.
No,
it's it's we speak our truth to learn the truth.
Exactly. And so during the break, I've been doing a lot of that as well. I've been just listening to people, but also kind of my resolution, which we never really circled back to. One of my resolutions was to have the intention or have my actions be something that I'm doing because it will bring me joy, or something because I want to do it. And not to say that in like a selfish way, but if you recall, I said more so because I feel like I've been doing a lot of things because other people expect it from me to do it. And I've kind of lost, who am I and why do I do the things that I do? And so I've kind of taken this mantra to heart and just been speaking my truth, like I said, with people. And it's been super liberating. And so I guess I wanted to ask you, Nick, have you used the show's mantra at all and taken it to heart? Or have you kind of come up with a mantra since we talked to since our conversation with Erica, and lived anything out like that?
I mean, yes, I try to be authentic all the time. But when we came up with that mantra, for me, it was more like a re-examining of what the show is, because I do my best to speak my truth on the show at all times. But also just thinking about how thoughts evolve. And that's the learning part for me. Sometimes we come on here and we think one way, and then, a conversation can change things. And I guess that's just open conversation, but that's how I view the mantra. If you want to talk like speaking truth, or like even, and honestly, like if you want an unpopular opinion of mine, it's this. I don't know if people know this or if they don't live in Massachusetts, but It's been a massive week for men expressing their emotions for the first time. Very vulnerable. And of course, I'm talking about the retirement of Tom Brady.
That was quite the segue.
Well, no. This is my controversial opinion. But like, I was watching I wasn't watching the news. My dad, who's old, was watching the news, and I came in.
I also watch the news, and I'm younger than you.
Okay, well, you called me old the other day because I was eating cream of wheat and yogurt, but
Yes.
you listen to NPR, so
I do.
and we both like meatloaf. But
I do.
no, so
Unapologetically me, and you're unapologetically you.
yeah,
We're speaking our truth.
yeah, these men are being very brave, showing their sadness and
Disheartenment. I don't know.
yeah, their grieving process for
Yeah,
Tom.
yeah.
I was watching the news, and the name of the segment was "Goodbye to a Legend." And if you're not from Massachusetts, let me be the first to tell you this is gonna blow you away. But he's actually alive.
Tom
He is
Brady.
alive.
Really?
Like,
Really?
If you want to, I mean, yeah, if you want to talk about dead celebrities, watch The Masked Singer. Rudy Giuliani was just on.
What? Dead celeb?
He looks like he's been dead for years.
Okay. Well, because you brought this up, I feel like I have to clarify. People in New England, so Tom Brady retired. After 22 years in the NFL, he announced his retirement. And people in the New England area were upset because in his 9-page social media post about his retirement, thanking this person, that person, this person, he didn't thank Patriots Nation. He didn't thank Bill Belichick. He didn't thank Robert Kraft, who's the owner of the Patriots. He didn't thank any of the Patriots fans. But he did, however, thank the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their whole community and their whole staff. And he spent 20 years in New England, and he got his start in New England, right? He was drafted a 6th-round draft pick, but obviously nowadays he would have been a 1st-round draft pick. But he was a 6th-round draft pick drafted by the Patriots, who helped him get his start. And so people in this area were just frustrated that he didn't share any sort of gratitude towards the New England area. And yes, there's some drama between Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft and Tom Brady and the Patriots organization and Tom Brady, but at least thank the fans is my opinion. But he eventually did later on in an Instagram story instead of a post. So that's why people were so upset. Not so much because he was retiring, but because they didn't include us. So
My 2 cents on the whole thing with Tom Brady is Lady Gaga played the Super Bowl 5 years ago today in a game that Tom Brady happened to play in.
Thank you, Nick, for your contribution.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. Look at me.
You're so welcome.
Oh yeah, I have to give the fans everything they want. You're so welcome. It was for you, Lauren.
So Nick, today is what is commercially and in some faiths and in some countries known as Valentine's Day.
V-Day.
V-Day. Are you familiar?
No. No. If we're being honest, no. I would love to be familiar. Maybe that's, maybe 2023 I'll be familiar.
You're not 2022. Well, I guess at this point we've passed it.
At this point, yeah.
This point's a little too late. But you could, I don't know, something could happen. Something could happen still in this year, and you could. Wasn't that something you mentioned? You said I don't want to be single in 2022.
It's not going too hot.
Well, it's only February.
Okay.
There are 12 months in the year.
That is true. I've heard that. But that is a perfect segue because we wanted to talk today about, just in the spirit of Valentine's Day, we wanted to talk about relationships. We did already talk once about hookup culture and, dating apps and that whole thing. And like in a college perspective, you might know it as the 4 Fs. But
the episode title.
Yes.
Not the lesson.
Episode 12, title. Go listen to it. One of the fan favorites, truly. But I'm excited to talk more about like relationships and what you value in a relationship, what you look for in a person, and so on. So
that type of stuff. Yeah.
With that said, tell us about your first kiss. No, we can save that.
We should share those stories. I think we should share those stories at the end.
Yeah, of course. Keep people on their seat, on the edge of their seat.
Exactly. Yeah, so relationships. And of course, to clarify, we're talking about romantic relationships
We can
or
open it up to non-romantic ones, but I think romantic to start because it is Valentine's Day.
I agree. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what you want to call me, but I definitely am someone who looks for personality first and then looks. And you
Mm.
can call me cheese, you can call me whatever you want, but
Or
when I'm
kind,
looking for or kind,
wholesome. I think that's a pretty good thing. I don't think
what?
that you just
Oh,
described a
oh,
negative
oh,
one.
oh, oh. Oh, describing myself. Yeah.
God, I wish I was like
Yeah, so I'm definitely someone who looks for personality, and I look for something that like can we connect on things, because in my opinion, if you can't connect with your partner on just interests, I feel like you have to have some commonality there, and so that's where I start. And then if that person is attractive, well, that's even better, you know. Um, that probably furthers the emotions that I might have. But I don't know if I really have a. I know I just said personality, but it's definitely personality, and then in common interests. In terms of looks, I don't really know if I have a type per se, because people are like, oh, do you have a type in terms of looks? I don't really know if I have a type, because the people that I've had crushes on and the people that I've dated in the past have all looked very different from each other. So I don't know if I have a look necessarily. You're giving me
that. No, I'm just thinking.
a
I'm thinking.
pondering look.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking. I'm like trying to remember people.
Go through my just
I only know two
love
of them.
love life's past.
I only know two of them. And I guess yeah, they do. They were two different
Seem
people.
different, but what
But
about you? What do you look for?
um, hot. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Well, that's my problem with dating apps, and we're not going to go there because we've already talked about swipe culture. But I think in terms of attributes, the things that I look for: kindness, compassion, someone that shows interest in you, and that you can give that love back to. Because I think, like I've talked about this with people before, like relationships are I I'm the last person to give relationship advice. I haven't been in one in a long time, but you have to work on them every single day or else I don't believe that they will work. I saw something on I think it was I don't know whose account it was. It was an influencer's account and it basically was along the lines of like a relationship is not waking up next to the person every morning and feeling in love with them. Like that let me just clarify because that sounds harsh, but you are in love with them, but it's not the roses and rainbows, the honeymoon phase that people picture it to continue being. I mean, if you're in love with somebody and you have that phase for your entire life, more power to you. I'm not saying I believe in it. I'm not saying it's not like a thing, but I think it's work. So I think, respect, compassion, kindness, of course, having the same interests, but it doesn't. I've learned that liking Lady Gaga isn't really a personality trait with the people that I'm talking to. We just, that's kind of like a given for all of us. But yeah, so that's what I look for.
Sounds like you're looking for someone who's hot, someone who's respectful, kind, compassionate, but also someone who's willing to put in the work that you feel like a relationship requires.
Basically, someone who's me. No.
You talked a little bit about love, and are you someone that believes that love can be felt between two at first sight? Do you believe in love at first sight, or do you feel like a connection or something more needs to be there before one can feel love?
I don't think love at first sight. I've never experienced it. You can like see someone be like, "Oh wow, they're really attractive," or like see somebody's bio on an app and be like, "Wow, I really connect with that."
Yeah.
But I can't be like, I've looked at you and I'm in love with you. Like, because in love is a very intense feeling
Right.
that I've only felt once. And I think that, I mean, I will say right now, the person that I was in love with was actually annoying to me at first.
Yeah, this seems kind of cynical, but I'm kind of in the same boat as you, that I think you can be attracted to someone at first sight.
Of course.
But I feel like love requires a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to put words to what I'm trying to say, but I feel like a little bit more of a connection, maybe, or a little bit more of getting to know that person is required before you can say, I love that person. And there are different types of love. You know, there's like platonic love, but then there's also, you know, we're talking about romantic love. And I think that's a deeper type of love that I think requires more of a connection.
Yeah. I mean, I find it really attractive, somebody that likes to like focus on themselves, like in self-improvement and mindfulness. Like I was talking to somebody who was into yoga and journaling and just self-compassion, and I was like, hot.
Yeah.
Like hot. I think but that's great cuz I'm into that stuff too, and like I'm not perfect. They're obviously not like no one's perfect, but like when people are constantly working at that and like giving themselves to themselves but also to the relationship, like that is love right there.
I think that goes back to what you were saying too. You said you look for someone who's kind, respectful, and compassionate. And I think if someone is taking the time to show themselves, focus on themselves, and show themselves self kindness and self-improvement, and we've talked about this on the show before, self-compassion, it shows that they respect themselves enough, and that they, if you enter into a relationship, will respect you as well.
Right. And like also looks are fleeting. Like I am not going to look this hot forever.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
We're
in the prime of our lives. You know,
again,
this is it.
Again though, for anybody that's just tuning in for the first time, the arrogance is a bit. Like, that is a bit. I am not an arrogant person.
We talked about this yesterday about how, you know, when we get on here, we're playing characters. This is method acting, guys.
Yeah.
And girls listening. Like, this is...
in a way, we are being authentic, obviously, but, like, in a way...
I'm not. Speak for yourself.
No, in a way, and I think this is for anybody, honestly, that's putting anything out online. It's kind of like, in a way, a caricature of your true self. Like, I'm not actually... Like, I am speaking authentically when I'm, you know, when we're talking about serious things, but this arrogance is a bit, and it's a bit based off of the fact that I'm very quick to self-deprecate in real life, as Justin would know. So I think it's funny to come on here and act like I'm in love with myself.
Yeah, totally. And just to make it clear, I was kidding. I'm extremely authentic. Like I said, I speak my truth to learn the truth. No, that's so, the whole point of this show.
I have a question.
Oh, do you?
You brought up yesterday when we were planning this.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. What do you think is important for a relationship? Because I kind of answered this already.
Important for a relationship. Well, I agree with that. A relationship does take work. And I've learned in the past that relationships of any kind, really, you can have a love, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you need more than love. And I don't know if you know exactly what I mean by that. But, like, love alone cannot always keep a relationship. Like, you could love someone and they can love you. But that's, like, a tough question. And I said this is something we should talk about. I think it's...
You know what I'm talking about.
Shut up, Nicholas. I think trust is something that's really important.
Yeah.
That's something that's huge. I think if one person trusts the other person and the other person doesn't trust that other person, then it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because you have to trust people. And especially, this, I'm also speaking from, unfortunately, just in the stages of life that I've been in, some of my romantic relationships have included a period of long-distance relationships. And especially in long-distance relationships, you have to have trust, right? Because if you don't have that, you're constantly going to be wondering, you know, is this person having fun without me? And are they doing something that I wouldn't approve of because I'm not there to witness it or something like that, you know?
I think I could do long distance.
It sucks. No matter what people say, it sucks. That's all I'm going to say on that for now. But yeah, I think trust is really important. And then I think too, you touched on it, right? That any type of relationship is a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
So putting in, I think depending on the day, equal amounts of work. But you know, if someone's having a bad day, and they can't put in as much effort in that particular day, but then that person kind of being willing to be like, it's okay, don't worry about it. And I think understanding, empathy, understanding where people are and how life is gray. We've talked about this on this podcast before, that sometimes what people are going through in life, you may not understand it completely, but knowing that they have, you know, there's good intent, knowing that they still have feelings for you or love you or wherever you are in your relationship, and understanding that what they're going through. Like if someone is mad on a particular day, like they may not be mad at you, but just having empathy for, okay, they're having a hard day or whatever they're going through is tough, and not calling them out on it, but more so just like being with there. I mean, I think we should talk about love languages at some point in this episode. My love language is quality time. And if I'm having a bad day, like you don't even, yes, I like words of affirmation. That's probably my second one. But if you just sit with me, then I'm the happiest guy in the world. Just in general. So
you're welcome.
So I don't know if you can make any sense out of that incoherent mess, but
no. I mean, I can reaffirm what you just said, or I guess affirm what you just said. You definitely, I can see quality time being your love language. Just you love. You're an extrovert, but you love being like. I could just tell. I can tell when you're just like really enjoying being around people. I guess.
Sure.
Or enjoying the company that we have.
What's important? What do you have anything to add to what you think is important in a relationship?
Honestly, no. I do have like a follow-up question, but I feel like I said what I wanted to say about that. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to know if you can guess my love language.
I've never really thought about that. So, for those who don't know, there are 5 love languages. They are acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, gifts, and physical touch. If I can guess your love language, I kind of want to say gifts.
Okay.
Because you just get very excited, and we talked about this again on a previous episode. You get very excited when you give gifts, and I can see like or maybe acts of service, but you mentioned one time that I brought you lo mein.
Yes. I do get excited about giving gifts when I know that the person will like it, up to the point that sometimes they come 2 months late because I'm working on them still. But
Nick's talking about his Christmas gift to me. Yeah. And to Dan?
Yes, and to Dan. It's not gift giving. It's words of affirmation. Because they're free. Like they're not in like like you will never run out of them. It's like a well that doesn't go dry.
Yeah.
And I personally think that you can give someone as much as you can with a gift, like a physical gift, as you can making their day or lifting them up. And that's something that I like to do with my friends. Like if they look good, or if they're like look happy, or if they're bringing me joy, like I like to tell them. I think it's really a cool way to just show someone that they're appreciated and make them feel good, especially, or even just like, I guess this isn't necessarily like affirmations, but when I was in the subway station today, the T station, I was like smiling at people, and it's just like, it's so nice to just like have that connection, just like that you don't get every day, that human connection with just like a random stranger on the passing you by. So that
makes a lot of sense, because I feel like you were a big note writer too. Like I received a lot of notes from when we were both at Loyola. I received a lot of notes in my mailbox, and yes, that makes a lot of sense.
I guess that's both. That's like gift giving and words of affirmation wrapped up into one.
Do you think that I don't know if there's actually literature on this, but is the love language you like to receive the same love language you like to give?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. I think they can.
I think they're different,
but I think for me, mine are the same. I think I'm quality time. I like giving quality time, and I like receiving quality time.
Unless we're in a relationship, I hate when people touch me. So mine is not. My
touch.
Literally, my catchphrase at home is "Don't touch me." And I'm not joking. But that's definitely. I mean, I like hugging people. Like I don't mind hugging people, but yeah. But I do have that follow-up question. Do you think, and this is a conversation I've had with somebody who I was talking to recently, do you think if you are someone who wants a relationship, you can be too busy for a relationship?
Yes. because you said that relationships take work, and I agree. Like this thing way far into the future, but when I think about getting married, and that's something that I want to do at some point in my life, is get married.
Mhm.
I feel like I want to be established in my career, or at least on a path towards the career that I want to go to, because if I go to a doctorate program, that's going to be anywhere from 4 to 6 or 4 to 7 years. That's going to be a long time, at least on a path towards the career I want to, because I feel like otherwise, if I don't really know it, I'm going to feel like I'm so busy and blah, 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 and then I won't be able to give the other person who I'm welcoming and bringing into my life and is welcoming me into their life the time that they deserve. Again, my love language is quality time. So yes, I would say yes, that one can want a relationship, but at the same time could be too busy and not be able to put the time and work and energy into it.
And I think too, a relationship should be a priority. And so, or at least one of your priorities. And so if you don't have the energy or the time in your schedule to make it a priority, then maybe you shouldn't be in one at that given time.
That's fair. And I don't have I am not like set on one answer or the other, because I mean, when I talk about, self-care and self-compassion and saying like taking that time to yourself and, not being able to pour from an empty cup, I guess that resonates with what you just said. So I guess I believe that side too. And then there's a different part of me that believes, like, especially now, like, things aren't gonna get quieter right away. At least in my life. Like, and I'm assuming in yours too. You're talking about going into, if you go to become a doctor, like, things aren't gonna get quieter right away. And I think that it's something that if you like someone enough, you can make time for. And also, and honestly, I don't even know if I believe that, but I partially do. I'm kind of, going back and forth on that. But it's like something that you can, like, if you think of a relationship as like a journey together, that maybe you can go through together, I guess. And,
yeah.
And, but a totally fair argument on both sides. And I really haven't settled on one, because I have, like, that might just be my desire, because we've talked about this before, but I'm not someone who's looking for a hookup. Like,
right. And it's not like our answers are the right answers.
No.
There are no right answers to a lot of the questions that we talk on the show. They're not really right answers.
No.
What is your dating philosophy? Like, when you date people, is it just to, okay, let's see where this might go? Or, like, I can answer first. Like, when I date people, I want to see if there's a potential in this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. That's like getting married. So I don't know, like, what is your, I guess, dating philosophy?
Well, that sounds your answer sounds really intense, but I think it's what most people, like, that's might be the standard.
Putting it into words does sound really intense.
Yeah, putting it into words, it's like, hey, I want to marry, like, I might want to marry.
I might want to marry you someday. Let's try this out.
I don't recommend starting with that. But, I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I am really bad at goodbyes. So I can't imagine going into a relationship and thinking this is going to be a summer thing and then we're going to end it. Like, no. Like, even if I'm friends with you, like, I'm not planning on being like, all right, in a couple of years I'll see you around. Like, no. I like my people and I want to, stay with my people forever. This is why I have 2 jobs. I can't leave the restaurant because I love all of them so much. But, yeah, no, mine is the same way. It's to find a partner who, ideally I would get married to. But I'm not, like, again, that scares people to say that, to put into words. And I'm not rushing. Like, I'm not like, oh, we've matched.
Right.
Want to get married? Like, no.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
How many dates? I have one more question. How many dates before you're consider being in a relationship?
How many dates?
Or before you want to be in a relationship?
I don't know, because I think with my relationships, we didn't really go on dates first. We were kind of talked. We texted a lot, and then we were like, hey, let's talk about what this is. And then we're like, oh, I guess we're going to decide that we're dating. So we didn't really necessarily go on dates in the conventional sense. So I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that question. Do you have an answer?
Well, they were unconventional in the way that I was also there for some of them. I would say, like, I mean, there's two different answers. One, when I'm thinking about a relationship before the first date, but when I would actually want to like start a relationship, maybe after like the fourth. I don't know. Let us know if that's too long or too short.
I feel like it also depends on how fast, on the pacing of the relationship.
True.
Like, and I don't mean relationship in the romantic sense. I mean like in the relationship between the two individuals, right?
That's true.
Like if you just met each other and are going on dates because you met on an app or met, through a mutual friend or what have you, then maybe it might take a little bit longer to say, okay, we're dating. If you've been friends for a while and then you start deciding, hey, can I take you out for dinner, and that's considered a date, then it might take less.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But as we approach the end of this episode, we promised that we would tell our first kiss stories.
Yes.
For our audience here. I think I alluded to mine when we had our sisters on, but
you did.
Do you want to go first, or would you like me?
You can go first.
Okay. So, my first kiss. Let me set the scene. It's 2014. I'm probably how old? 13, 14 years old. Mm-hmm. And I'm a freshman in high school. And in New England, in Massachusetts, for some reason, we have a week in February off for vacation, and we have a week in April off for school vacation. And my family would usually try and go somewhere warm for April vacation, not in February, because when you come back, it's sleeting and raining ice like it was last night. And so we went to this place called Longboat Key Resort or something in Florida.
Great place.
And shout out Longboat Key. And so my family and I were eating dinner in the lobby at the hotel, the restaurant, and there were, a window area to our right that looked out to the pool, but there was no window there because it was warm and whatever, and there was some people night swimming, and I was like, hey, I think I want to go night swimming. So I went back to the room, got changed, went night swimming, and there was a couple of girls who were my age, and they were there with their younger cousins, and I was just kind of swimming, and I forgot to say that my mom was like, sure, you can go night swimming, but you have to take your brother with you. And my brother was like, and he didn't want to go night swimming, but he just sat at a pool chair on the side of the pool on his phone, just, scrolling through whatever. And so eventually the little cousins left, and this other guy who was not with the girls and their cousins came over. And so there were four of us. We were all like around the same age. And the four of us went to the hot tub, and we started playing Truth or Dare. And long story short, I was dared to kiss one of the girls, and that was my first kiss.
How romantic.
So on vacation, April vacation, my freshman year.
Yours is a lot classier than mine.
On a dare? I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Let me really grab listeners' attention.
You set the scene here now. Here we go.
Let me start this story in the middle to really grab your attention. So I'm 14 in the car seat, and I lean over and kiss her. That's the sensationalized version of this story, but it's not much better, the real one. I was dating someone at the time. We never went on a single date alone. So were we really dating? I mean, I would say so because it was like a 6-month thing, but we took our friend and we were at the Hanover Mall, which does not even exist anymore, but that's beside the point. She wanted to kiss me and she said that. And I was a little fruity, was thinking, I'm too scared. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I was nervous, like you're 14. I was 14 at the time. And I kept being like, oh, I just had onions. Like, I need to get mints. So I literally was like pushing it off. I was like, let's go to Walmart. So I get Tic Tacs, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't think we'd still be doing this. But, so we send our friend I'm like, hey, he's oblivious, by the way, to this. Can you go get, like, whatever, like, from the Nintendo section? Like, can you grab me? So he goes. For some reason, we're sitting in the car seat section, because, like, who didn't do that? I feel like a lot of people haven't done that. But we were sitting in the car seat section. I don't know why. Maybe it was a spot to sit. And we kissed. And, yeah, my first kiss was in a Walmart at 14 years old. It was, It was something. Definitely a story to never tell anyone ever.
It's definitely a story that we'll keep between us.
Yeah, and our listeners.
Absolutely.
I always want to say viewers. It's not
just
viewers.
keep it between us. We'll just keep it between us.
Okay. Well, they just heard that, but
well, no, they didn't.
Okay.
It's a bit. It's a bit.
I get it.
On Ellen, sometimes they say to just keep it between us. I'm trying to do a bit, funny for laughs.
Yes,
Come on,
Ellen
Nick,
DeGeneres. I know her.
You got to keep up with me because
my bad.
Otherwise, then the bit doesn't work. And now
I'll be Andy. Andy never keeps up. I can just be Andy.
Andy?
Yeah, her producer.
Oh.
That she always makes fun of, and he's never in on the.
No,
joke.
I know Andy. Yeah, no. Anything that you want to share, Nick, at the end of this episode?
Do you want to just quickly tease what we're doing next week? Very quickly?
We should. So, next week, as we mentioned, this year we're going to be starting 2 different series. This first series we're calling Passport Edition, Point of View Passport Edition. And we'll be talking to people who live outside of the United States, which is where we live. And next week is our first episode of that. So we hope we'll explain more next week, but we hope you look forward to it as much as we are. And yeah.
And just to clarify too, it's still the same show. It's just a series within the show that will be ongoing. Your name's Justin Dew.
My name is Justin Dew.
And I'm Nick Gervasi.
And you can reach us at our email, pointofviewpodcast@gmail.com, or by sending us a voice message on our website, anchor.fm/pointofview. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and now Twitter at Point of View Podcast, or Point of View on Twitter, for the latest POD news. And if you enjoy our show, give us a rating or a review in the Apple Podcast Store, or share us with a friend or family member. We really, 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 truly appreciate your support. And as always, we hope you have a wonderful week. It's so great to be back.
It's
Thank
true.
you for listening. And until next time.
Hey.
Because they will carry on. If the other side is a sad story, we'll make good out of it. Because we count the times when we were together. Now we're back again, but this time the colors will not be the same.